So since the last video, quite a bit has happened and changed. So I ended the last video by saying that I had a rug in here that I bought from Lowe's and I was taking it up because I didn't like it. So I ended up going to Walmart and Lowe's, bought some rugs, took them back because I didn't like them. They just did not look good in here. And so I ended up getting on Facebook Marketplace and I extended out my search further than I ever would have imagined. We even went up to like 4 hours out. And thankfully we found this one, and it was only about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from us. So I went to go pick up this rug, which it is absolutely gorgeous. It has all the colors in it, and it just helps bring out like the green, because there is sage green in it. There's blue, there's a lot of gold, there's red. So I feel like truly anything can go in this dining room now. And it is a hand-tied rug, or hand-knotted, however you say it, because I did know that I did not want a tufted rug. So that was one thing that I wanted to avoid. But I don't really think that this rug is all that old. I know the people that I bought it from said that they had lived in their house for like 20 years. So I don't think this rug was old unless they bought it secondhand. I didn't even ask. I probably should have, but I didn't. But I don't know if it's old, so I don't have any clue there. You may be able to still buy this rug. I have no idea. Because I didn't want light and bright in here in the dining room. I almost wanted something a little bit moody, and it turned out perfectly. But while we were there getting this rug, Ben looked in the back of their garage and saw that they had some tables and chairs sitting around and asked if they were for sale, and she said yes. And it was luck of the draw because it was a set of 8 chairs and we absolutely loved them. She had just had them reupholstered. So here is the chair, but it matches so good. And she said that these were her parents. We ended up paying $400 for the rug and the chairs, and that is the deal of a lifetime compared to what I was seeing on Facebook Marketplace. So we were thinking we were gonna have to spend about $500 on chairs, and we were just gonna have to wait and just live with what we had. But we added it up and we ended up paying $12 per chair, which we fit what we could in the back of my car. So we wadded the rug up as small as we could, and then we hauled 5 chairs home. But we couldn't get it all in there. So we actually have to go back this evening to go get the 2 captain's chairs and then 1 more of these chairs. So we have to go back this evening, but it's slowly coming together, and I love the black. I didn't think I would, but I love the black because it brings out the fireplace. And then the gold, it brings out the rug. So everything just kind of goes together, and I've really had to just get over that just by looking on Instagram and Pinterest. Pinterest has been like my #1 because I don't really have any older books that show like historic pages or pictures of houses and stuff. So I really relied on Pinterest. One thing I've come to find is that they did not worry about patterns matching back in the day. Like most houses, like the wallpaper was something completely different than the rug. And so was the chairs and just all the pattern. Like, so the curtains would be completely different, which ours will be too. So I really had to come and get over that fear because like I was not big on color, as you could tell with my kitchen. My kitchen is yellow, is the most vibrant color, and then a lot of white. But other than that, we don't really have much color in there. So this is a huge step for me, but I absolutely love it. It's exactly what I want. I absolutely love that the rug is big enough to still add the leaves in, because this table, it was built to sit 6 people. So we bought the 8 chairs because we knew we would need them, but we were not expecting the 8 chairs to fit under this comfortably. So last night we tried it out whenever my brother was here, and it was totally comfortable. It didn't, there was no problems, and it's not tight at all. As you can see, there's plenty of room in between the 6 chairs, and then the captain chairs will just go on the end. So it sits 8 perfectly. We thought it only sat 6 just because that's what we did at our old house, but it fits 8 comfortably. And whenever we get the leaves put in the table, it should still be able to stay on the rug with the leaves, depending on how big we make them. But either way, it'll be fine. But we should have a table that could fit, I'm hoping 12 people. I would love to be able to put enough leaves in it to fit 4 more people. We'll see if we can make it happen or not, and that'll be like a little while because I don't even know when his dad has time to work on it, which it's not a big deal right now. And an update on the chandelier. I originally said that we were going to be moving the chandelier over 6 inches, but after I talked to my dad, the way that the house is wired in, it's connected, so we cannot just move this chandelier. It would be a way bigger job than I thought it would be. And because there's no slack in the wire up there, it's like tight and just in the box because you don't want like loose wires. So what we're gonna do is leave the light fixture where it's at, but we're gonna take a chain and like drape it and hook it, and that way it's center. Hopefully that makes sense. A lot of people do it in their home. We just now got back from getting the other 3 chairs, and it looks so good in here now. I'll show you the captain's chairs. They're wet. We just now carried them in, and it's pouring the rain outside, so they're a little bit wet on the wood. But I love the arms. It looks so good. Here's what it looks like, and even with the captain's chairs, there's still plenty of room to walk through here, so we like that. And even over there in between the cabinet and that chair, there's plenty of room, and to the closet. So we have plenty of walking space in here still. I just need to figure out where I want to put the high chair. And then I opened up the closet door, but I need to still put the latch and stuff on. But here are the shelves. I may have to show you tomorrow in the daylight so you can see better. But we just ended up doing 3, and I painted them green. I was gonna do the trim color this color. I decided not to, just because it did not look good in the room, and the trim color would be that around like the windows and on the floor. It would just be a lot of green, and if I ever wanted to change the wallpaper, I don't like that. So we're gonna just go with white to keep it simple. And then in here in the closet, I did use the paint just because I already had it on hand, and it does match. I did Google lens search with my phone on the chairs, and I think they're from about the 1960s. I'm not sure. All of these say something different, but they are Queen Anne, and I think the brand is like Ethan Allen. That's the most common thing I see is like Ethan Allen Georgian something right here, like a Georgian Court Queen Anne. So I think that is what we have, or something similar. Our goal for decorating the dining room was to only use decor that we already had in the addition. And this cabinet, along with all of this decor, I did already have. It came from our old house, or I've bought it since we've lived here, just put it in the addition for storage until we could use it. But the only money that we wanted to spend on this dining room right now was for a rug, just because we needed it. We didn't think we were going to be getting new chairs, so we allotted a certain amount of money for the rug. But like I said earlier in the video, once we went to go pick up the rug, we saw the chairs and could not pass that up. The chairs were only $12 a piece, and if you know anything about old vintage chairs, then you know that to find good stable chairs is hard enough, but then finding a set of 8 is extremely hard. So we were thinking we would have to pay quite a bit of money, and we could not pass that up. So other than the rug and the chairs, we did not spend any money on the decor in here in the dining room that I'm using. But I'm sure after we get the trim and the beadboard hung, I'm sure we'll buy some things and add in here. But for now, we're just sticking with what we have and keeping it simple. In here in this china cabinet, I did put some of our dishes that are from our grandparents and great-grandparents. But other than that, it is very simple. These are napkin rings, and I just put them in here in this bowl. And then I did throw a few silver pieces in here that I had picked up forever ago at thrift stores. But it really came together, and then especially adding the linens on the bottom. I know typically you don't put linens in a china cabinet, but I thought it looked really good and added a different texture in here. So some of these are vintage, and then some of them are new. As I was pulling things out from the addition, everything had to be wiped down. It is so dusty. It's been in there for almost 3 years now. So as you can imagine, the dirt and dust has built up on these things. But I'm pulling different things out, and a lot of these things came from thrift stores or yard sales. So this specific piece, I know the clip went on, but I got it at a yard sale, I think for $5, and it has a sticker on it, and it is genuine crystal. So I am going to put it in here, but it's not like we have to be super careful with it or anything. I only pay $5 for it. And then this mantle clock, I got it for $10, and it just needed a new battery. I've had it for years, and I don't even think we used it at our old house. I think I just put it in the decor and never used it. But it's the perfect spot for this clock. If you follow along on Instagram, then you probably already saw me go through these Bibles. I did it in my Instagram stories, and I was sharing some of the things I was finding in these old Bibles. And I just don't have the heart to take things out. As you'll see here in a second, I do find a newspaper clipping, and it is for a 50-pound sweet potato that somebody grew. And I turned the picture over, and on the back it says, please save this. So I put a lot of special things in my Bible, so I know that all these things were special to somebody else. So even though they're not my Bibles, I just bought them. I bought a huge box at an auction for $1 years ago, and all of these Bibles were in there and old books. So I just keep everything that was in the Bibles with each specific Bible. And I do enjoy going through them and just looking and seeing what everybody's story was, or just what they wrote about, or things like that. And in some of the Bibles, I did find it was stamps. The best that I could understand, somebody explained it to me on Instagram as it was stamps, and you got them for buying groceries, and you could buy things out of a magazine. They were called like green stamps or something. So that's what these are, I think. And then this quote, I actually ended up putting it in a picture frame because I loved it so much. So it is on our mantle now, and it is the perfect addition. When Ben got home from work, I did have him hang a few things for me up. He used a masonry screw and a masonry bit to hang this deer head on the fireplace for us. And then he hung my sheep picture that you guys saw in the last video, and it cleaned up so perfectly. It does have wavy glass, so it is a little bit hard to look at or get a good picture of it on camera. So that's why it looks a little funny in the videos that I show, but it doesn't look that bad in real life. It's just because the wavy glass throws it off in the camera. After taking some time to decorate, this is how the dining room looks now, and we are loving it. We love the bold color of the red in here and the dark cherry chairs. We never imagined that, especially me, that I would choose such a dark wood tone, but I do love it. And I love the cabinet over here. It's perfect for storing all of our dishes. And on the top, I just kept it simple with some candlesticks. And then we have this matching picture of the man praying in our kitchen. So I had this one of the woman praying, so I decided to put it in here. And then this is Ben's pipe collection. He collects tobacco pipes. And then this is just that crystal vase, or I don't even know what it is. But I did put some flower frogs in there so I can put some vases of flowers on the table this summer. And as you know, the deer head above the fireplace. But we are loving it. We love how light and bright it is, even though it does have a dark rug. And the rug just really grounds the table, so it doesn't look like it's like floating, because whenever it was just the table on the floor, there was no separation. It just kind of looked funny. But we did end up turning the door around, as so many of you guys suggested. So we flipped the door. I still have not found anything to cover not the mantle, but the electrical panel yet. And in here in the closet, I painted the shelving green, and where the wallpaper comes up so high, that will be covered with baseboards eventually. So we are going to trim it out in here. On the bottom, I just have my photography backdrop thing, and then my Instant Pot, just some table decor. These are table placemats, and they're 4 placemats, and now we have a table of 8. So I'm trying to keep them all. That way I can hopefully like mix and match them eventually. But other than that, I just have an iron and then some extra decor, but we still have plenty of storage space in here. And we did build the shelves up pretty high, because I think I may store totes eventually in the bottom of maybe like seasonal decor, things like that. I'm not really sure yet. So that's why we built the shelving so spaced out, just so that I could store some bigger items. But here's the door. As you can see, this was the side that had paint on it. So now it's on the inside, but I did get most of the paint off. This was probably the best I have done on restoring a door so far, and I think it looks awesome. Around the table, we have plenty of walking room, which I absolutely love. And on the mantle, I did keep it pretty simple. I put this quote in here, as I mentioned before. You can pause the video to read it if you would like. When we moved, I asked my mom to take all of my house plants, so she has those. So the next time I go up there, I'll grab my snake plant, and it will go here with this picture frame to add some height. And then I just did old Bibles, a brass bowl, and I think these are called prisms, but they come on like old light fixtures and the vase, but they always break. So I have tons of replacements that I got at a yard sale years ago for super cheap. and then of course the clock. We have already been using the dining room and we are absolutely loving it. It makes it so much easier to finally have a place to sit down and eat our meals and not have to either stand and eat them or go to our bedroom upstairs and eat them. We are so thankful to finally have a dining room that is finished, and it is right off the kitchen, but our kitchen is pretty small, so it's not really an eating kitchen. It is strictly just for like working and countertop space because it is pretty small. So now that we have the dining room, it is very close and it's convenient. I know a lot of people think that a formal dining room isn't convenient, but for us it is. It works for our house and the time period of our house, but we are loving it and we love how big and open it is. We may eventually get a buffet to go in here, but for now we like it as is and we don't want to spend any money until we can get the trim and the beadboard for the ceiling. But on the table, I just put this little runner or I don't even know what it's called, honestly, but I did put some silverware here. It was an extra set that I had. I got it at a yard sale for like $2, but we seem to always forget our silverware, and there's nothing worse than sitting down and realizing that you don't have your silverware. So I put that there so that somebody could just grab it and eat with it. Here is the sheet picture that I was telling you guys about earlier and that you saw in my last video whenever I cleaned it up. It cleaned up perfectly and I absolutely love it. It looks so good in here. But the lamp I did take from our laundry room. If you guys remember from a couple years ago, we refinished the laundry room and I took this lamp in there, but we never used it. So I just put it in here because it will actually get used in here. But as for now, we still have not heard anything from the guy that is working on our tractor. So this will probably be the last dining room video you guys see until we start to work on the trim or the ceiling again. But even though the dining room is not completely finished, we are just thankful that we can use it now. It makes life so much easier. But I did want to show you these few items that I plan on decorating with, but we have to wait until we get our trim up. And we do have curtains planned, but we have to wait until the trim is up around the curtains also. And one question I have for you guys is, where would you put this high chair? I do like having it out just for my nieces and nephews whenever they come over. So I do like it being out, but I don't want it to interrupt the walkway space. So right here is the best place I have found for it. But where would you put it in here? Because I don't want it to be in the way. So I'm not sure if I need to just put it up and then only get it out whenever I need it. So let me know if you would leave it sit where it's at or if you would move it somewhere else.